Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay, and in today's class we're going to continue with our Math 6 content, and the topic today is going to be on multiplication. Okay, so with that, let's get started. I'm going to pick some examples from the textbook here, and we're going to try first the 3-digit multiplication with a 1-digit number. So I'm going to pick an example here. So let's try this. So 306 times 4. Okay, and after we do a few of these examples, we're going to move to the 2-digit by 2-digit numbers, okay, because it's a little more complicated. Okay, so let's start off with this one. So we're going to start off with the ones column. I'm going to do 6 times 4, which is 24. So you put the 4 on the bottom, and the 2 is going to be on the top of the next column, okay, which is the tens column here. Okay, then you're going to multiply it again. I'm going to do 4 times 0, which is 0, and then I'm going to add the 2, so plus 2, which is equal to 2, like that. Okay, and then lastly you're going to basically do 4 times 3, which is in the hundreds column, and that is equal to 12. Okay, so this is my answer at the end. It's 1224. Does everyone see how to do that? I'm just taking the digit on the bottom, which is a 4, and I'm just multiplying it by each of the numbers within each of these columns. Alright, so with that, let's try one more example here. Okay, so let's try this. So it's 931 times 5. So one more time, I'm going to start on the very right hand side here. I'm going to do 5 times 1, okay, which is equal to 5. Then you go to the next column. I'm doing 5 times 3, which is 15. I'm going to put the 5 on the bottom and the 1 on the top, okay? So make sure you're watching very carefully. Make sure you add these numbers that we're taking and carrying over, okay? And lastly, we're going to do 9 times 5, okay, which is 45, plus 1, which is equal to 46. Alright, so this is my answer at the very end. It's 4,655. Okay, so I hope everyone sees how to do those questions there. Okay, let's take a look at maybe the next one. And let's try this question here, okay? So I'm going to take this off. And let's try a question where you have a 4-digit number, okay? Let's try this one. So 1,196 times 3, okay? So even if this is a 4-digit number multiplied by a 1-digit number, which is 3, I'm just going to do the same thing as I was doing before, okay? We're going to multiply by the 3 by each of these numbers separately. So I'm going to start off with the ones column, so 6 times 3, 18. So I'm going to put 8, and then you're going to carry the 1 over, okay? In the next step, I'm going to do 9 times 3, okay, which is 27, plus 1, which is 28. I'm going to put the 8 and carry over the 2. So make sure you keep on carrying the numbers over to the next column and add it after you multiply. Alright, and now we're looking at the hundreds column here. I'm doing 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 2, which is equal to 5. Alright, and lastly we're doing 3 times 1, which is equal to 3. So my final answer here is 3,588. Okay, so I hope everyone sees how to do these questions, okay? And I can also estimate my answer, and I can round to the nearest tens, hundreds, thousands, and it'll give me an answer that's close to the actual answer that's on the board. Okay, so with that, let's move on. We're going to try the 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. So let me take this off. Okay, so let's try an example here, okay? Let's do 23 times 46, okay? So I'm just making up the question here, so it's something simple, and we can make sure that we all understand the concepts, okay? So first off, we're going to start with this column right here, okay? And I'm going to do 6 times 3, okay, which is 18. I'm going to put 8 and the 1 on top. Okay, and again, the reason I'm actually circling these numbers is so you can see which numbers we have to multiply, okay, and in which order. And next, I'm going to multiply, going diagonally like this. Okay, so it's going to be 6 times 2, which is 12, plus the 1 on top, which is 13. Okay, I hope everyone sees that. And always do these steps within this order. Okay, I'm going to actually just write the question out one more time here. Okay, and the reason is because I'm just circling, okay, what we are doing here. So we got 138, and we're done basically with the ones column here. Now you're going to start with the tens column, but before you do, you have to make sure you're putting a 0, okay, right underneath the ones column, in this case underneath the 8, okay. The next thing I'm going to multiply is within the tens column. So we're going to do diagonally 4 times 3, which is equal to 12. I'm going to put the 2, and then put the 1 on top like that, okay. And lastly, we're going to do 4 times 2, which is equal to 8, plus the 1 on top, which is equal to 9. Does everyone see that? So it's basically 4 steps here, okay? I have to multiply twice for the ones column, and then twice again for the tens column. Okay, in this last step, we're just going to add these two numbers together. Okay, so 8 plus 0, 8. 3 plus 2 is 5, and 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. Okay, so this is my final answer. And you can always just check your answer using the calculator. Okay, it is 1058. Okay, everyone sees that? So again, just 4 steps. Okay, you can actually break it down for now when you first start off doing the 2-digit by 2-digit. And after you get really good at it, you don't need to do it in 2 separate steps here. All right, so with that, let's try another example. So let me take this off. Okay, and we'll make sure that we check our answer using the calculator at the very end. Okay, so let's try 34 times 25. Okay, so again, I'm just making up the question here, okay? And it's good to use like small numbers when you're first starting off, because the questions in the textbook will be a little more complicated with the bigger numbers, okay? So let's start. So we're going to do this step first. I'm doing 5 times 4, which is equal to 20. I'm going to put the 0 and carry over the 2, okay? And in the next step, we're going to multiply diagonally. I'm going to just circle it. So we're doing 5 times 3, which is 15, plus the 2 on top, which is equal to 17. So right after you multiply the top 2 numbers and then diagonally, I am actually done with the ones column. Okay, so let's just write it out here one more time. So it's 34 times 25. Okay, and we got 170. Okay, so one more time, before we move to the tens column, I'm going to put a 0 here. Okay, and that way we know that we're done with the ones column. And we don't get confused with what we're multiplying. So again, one more time, the diagonal multiplication, we're doing 2 times 4, which is equal to 8. And lastly, the straight multiplication is 3 times 2, which is equal to 6. Okay, and you have to actually make sure, as you're writing the numbers, I'm making sure that I don't go through it really quickly. Make sure you are lining up all of the numbers, and that way when you're adding the numbers together, you won't get the wrong answer, okay? So what I've seen students do is some of the numbers are squished together, and then when they don't line it up, they're adding the wrong numbers at the very end, okay? So take your time when you're doing these questions, okay? In this last step, we're just going to add it together, okay, like this. So 0, 8 plus 7, so 15, okay? And then 6 plus 1 plus 1, which is equal to 8, okay? So we're getting 850. One more time, we're just going to multiply on our calculator. And this is just to make sure we are getting the right answer, okay? If you look in the textbook, there are actually a lot of questions where I need to estimate what my answer is. Again, you could just round the numbers to the nearest 10, hundreds, or thousands. And there's questions for basically each of these within the textbook. Okay, so make sure you're doing a lot of practice when you're doing the multiplication. The 2 by 2 multiplication is very commonly done in grade 6. And the teacher might actually move on to the multiplication using the 3 digits by 2 digits. And it's going to be exactly the same. Make sure you're just following the steps that we did on the board today. Okay, and then go through the textbook and try some more practice questions as well. All right. So if there are no questions, that brings this video to an end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. It is actually very helpful to go through each of the steps when you're multiplying, especially for the 2 digit by 2 digit multiplication. Alright, so thank you for watching one more time, and I will see everyone in the next video. Thanks, bye.